guys, been a long time, but just to get straight into the video, lately on TikTok I've been kind of speaking about love, grace, and pride. I've just been talking about how God has been showing me the importance of grace and how we have to be gracious towards one another, not because he's gracious towards us, but because he's gracious towards us. You know what I mean? Let me to elaborate a little bit on that. Because God is so gracious towards us, it should make you want to exude that same love and grace towards other people. And also because he said so. You know, we're supposed to be a reflection of him. So what happened was, a few years ago, I was so angry with someone. Yes, they wronged me. They was dead wrong. I ain't do nothing to them. Even with that, saying I didn't do anything to them, God still showed me ways that I could have been better in the situation, or even how I reacted or how I was acting in that moment. Because like I said, I was like whatever. In my head, you couldn't tell me that I didn't forgive them. I'm like, yeah, I forgave him, whatever. Let's move forward. What was missing in that forgiveness was grace. So therefore, God kind of showed me that's not true forgiveness. It's not true forgiveness without understanding and grace. And it's a heart thing. It's not just a talk thing. And we think that, yeah, we might think that what we do is right, but the Bible tells us how our hearts are actually desperately wicked. Like, we're evil, we're deceitful, we don't know this. And that's why we have to have God's vision, God's lens, how he sees things. I digress. Back to the story. I'm upset. I'm just in my head. I'm on the road. That situation was taking over. It was pure disgust on my face. I know, because I remember my face was frowned up. This truck drove by, and in the dirt was written God's grace. Everything softened. My mind shifted completely. From then on, I don't know how else to explain, but in situations, God has changed my mind so much. Be gracious towards other people, because it's nothing for God to be gracious towards me. All the mistakes that I've made, and sometimes it's not even on purpose. Think about it like this. We do things and we're not trying to hurt God, right? We're not trying to hurt God, but we do. Same thing when it comes to how we deal with one another. 9 times out of 10, we don't purposely try to hurt one another, but we do, right? And yes, that other person, they have to be held accountable for their actions. But at the same time, how we handle it, how we move forward, for lack of better terms, the victim, how we take that, how we progress and move forward, how we learn to deal with these things will shape our entire outlook on how we go about life. In a sense, this judgment, when we don't forgive, where we take this vengeance in our heart, like, oh, you need to do this deserves this, what needs to happen. That's kind of assuming the role of God. And we're not in position to do that whatsoever. Because if that's the case, when you're wrong, then you need that same sort of treatment, right? But no one wants to feel that way, especially if you know deep in your heart you're not exactly trying to commit any offenses to anyone. And that's the thing. Really, it's hurt people, right? And when you know better, or at least when God is trying to show you better, that's when you have to do better. And I say that because hurt people only if you allow yourself to be that kind of way. You need to heal. That's how you move forward. And if you allow God to work in you, when people offend you, yes, not to say that it won't hurt, but how you show them the way, how you show them love, how you respond to them, that can change their life. And ultimately, yes, it could be hard when it hurts, but at the end of the day, the goal is to please the Lord first and foremost, and let him do it, because he said that vengeance is his. He said that. Let me Google it. I just read it. I forgot where I was reading. He tells us not to repay evil doings for evil doings. Like, it's not our job to go out and seek revenge. Deuteronomy 32 and 35. Also Romans 12, 19 and 21. That's what I read. To tie pride into that. The pride in us wants to kind of be like, nah, you're not going to make me look like a punk. You're not going to make me look like a sucker. Like, you don't get to do this and treat me any kind of way. That's when we need to put our pride aside and be gracious. Being understanding doesn't make you weak. You can hear that person out and this, that, and the other. Or even this. Let's say you never get a sorry or you never get anything. Okay to walk away gracious, because the world kind of tells us you need to get your lick back. You need to be this way. You need to respond this way. And I'm a victim of that. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do this. This is what I would do. Hearing that in my ear and thinking, oh, I need to respond this way. I'm not saying I egg no cars or I beating people up or nothing like that. I'm not saying that, but this attitude, this internal battle of, oh, I should have did this, I should know. Only thing I need to do, follow what the Lord says and be me. And those are going to be cohesive, because God is made me to be who I am. And if I'm following the Lord, I will follow him in my authentic self. I'm not talking about the flesh, I'm talking about my spiritual man. Allowing God to lead me authentically who he made me to be. So I digress. Pride just does not have any room in your walk with Christ whatsoever, whatever you do. And that doesn't mean be walked all over. Moral of the story is be more gracious, be more patient, and plug in with the Lord. It was great to have been back on here. I hope that it's not that long again before I return, but just to check in. And yeah, all right, thank you.